Hello and welcome to episode 103 of From Impossible to Inevitable. I'm your host, Megan Bauer. Thank you so much for joining me today and pushing play on today's episode. Today's episode comes to you from the nicest lady I have met in a long time. So I have recently struck up a friendship, an unlikely friendship, with a dear older woman in my neighborhood. And on the outside, you would say there's nothing you two have in common. All of her children are grown. She has grandchildren. She's retired. She gardens. You know me, don't garden. Yet we have found this connection and we have a lot in common, it turns out, despite what it may look like on the outside. I have immensely enjoyed this woman's friendship and her care and her insight. Her insight. This woman has so much wisdom and so much insight. And whenever her name pops up on my phone, I am immediately delighted. I am so excited because I don't know what she's going to tell me, and I know it'll be brilliant. So here's something that she called me with a couple of days ago. And by a couple of days, I mean weeks. It's been weeks. Yet this has been on my mind, especially as we start to slip into goal setting season. This is such a crucial question to ask yourself as you set your goals. It's crucial. It's so crucial. So here's what she gave to me. Now, when she gave this to me, she said, I thought of this today and I wanted to give you the thought. Here you go. It wasn't a judgment thing. And so I give it to you in the same spirit that she gave it to me. This is something really critical to consider, especially as you set goals. She said, what do you want to be versus what are you willing to be? Take a minute, let that sink in. What do you want to be versus what are you willing to be? These are two very different mindsets. So you could go into goal setting like, I want to be all of this, or to have all of this, or to do all of this. I want all of this. Like, here it is. My arms are open wide. I want all of it. But then when you reel it in a little bit and you ask yourself the secondary question, what are you willing to be? What are you willing to do? What are you willing to have? You start to back up a little bit. You start to feel a little bit more reserved because now you're putting energy into it. You're putting a commitment into it. You're putting time into it. You're putting your resources into it. And so it starts to narrow just a little bit. I've always thought it would be fun to own a boat. Wouldn't it be fun to have a boat? I live right by Utah Lake. It's a nasty lake. I would never take a boat into that lake. However, I always thought it would be fun to own a boat. I will never own a boat because I do not want to take care of the boat. I don't want to learn how to drive it. I don't want to wipe it down. I don't want to wash it. I don't want to store it. I don't want to winterize it. I don't want to do any of that. I just want to have fun on the boat. You can do that without buying one. So that's excellent news. But that is the frame. That's what we're looking at. That is how you should look at the things that you consider turning into goals. It's like, is this the boat that would be really, really fun, but I don't want to take care of? Is it? Because if it is, that's fine. Some people love having a boat. They love the freedom of just going out on the lake or wherever they go with their boat. They love wiping that thing down and making it all sparkly. They don't mind winterizing it. They got a place to store it. It's no big deal. That's awesome. I love that for them. Not for me. Not for me. And that's okay. That's okay. When I started my early morning routine, which begins with exercise, I knew that I had to make this as approachable as possible because I wanted to have an early morning routine. And sure, I would love to make it some amazing thing. Yet I knew that my willingness to exercise was very limited. I did not want to do anything necessarily strenuous, especially when I'm already doing something I hated doing, which was getting up early. I was beginning my day with two things I hated the most: getting up early and exercising. I didn't want to do either of those things. So I narrowed my goal down to what am I willing to do? I was willing to ride my bike. All right, cool. We'll ride my bike. And I did that. The willingness, though, that was the everything. If I had gone for something way more difficult, I may not have been successful. And now that it's cold outside, I'm still riding my bike on a bike trainer. I didn't even know that was a thing, but Jake knew it was a thing, so he saved me. And so I still ride my bike. Every morning I just do it inside, and it's a lot harder because there is no coasting. There's no coasting. Anyways, moving on. So this also reminded me of a quote that I got in my email. I am subscribed to James Clear's email distribution. It comes out every Thursday. It's the most brilliant newsletter I have ever read on a consistent basis. And I read this quote and I printed it out because it made such an impact on me. And this goes right in line with what do you want to be versus what are you willing to be? So here's this quote from his newsletter. This is from James Clear. He said, "When you choose the benefits of an action, you also choose the drawbacks. If you want to be an author, you can't only choose the finished novel and book signings. You are also choosing months of lonely typing. If you want to be a bodybuilder, you can't only choose the fit body and attention. You are also choosing the boring meals and calorie counting. You have to want the lifestyle, not just the outcomes. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense being jealous. The results of success are usually public and highly visible, but the process behind success is often private and hidden from view. It's easy to want the public rewards, but you also have to want the hidden costs." I love that quote. We don't really think about that a whole lot as we send young people off to college or to start jobs, and we're like, there are hidden costs to whatever you choose. That's just that. And so you have to also be, maybe not want those things, but be willing to deal with them, be willing to engage with them, to tolerate them. You have to be willing to do whatever those hidden costs are. And that is a huge dividing line. It's a huge dividing line. And as you consider your goals for this upcoming year, think about that. Think about what you are willing to be. What are you willing to put your energy towards, your time towards, your resources towards? What are you willing to? What are those hidden costs? Are you willing to engage with those hidden costs? Are you willing to have that? And if so, if you're willing to have the drawbacks, if you're willing to put in the time and the energy and the resources, that sounds like a great goal. It really does. Because without being willing to do it, guess what? You're not going to do it. You can force yourself for a little bit, but it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable unless you are truly willing and you truly want it. Without those two things, you can make yourself do anything. I have a really high level of willpower, and even my willpower will peter out if I'm not willing and I don't really want it. There's a third one too. I would say belief is in there as well. We're not going to go touch in on belief, but belief is there. If you don't believe you can do it, you're already sunk. So you have to believe you can do it, be it, have it, whatever it is. Be willing to do what's required, and you have to want it, obviously, because if you don't want it, then, it doesn't really make sense anyway. Okay, this reminds me of one last thing. In the book, Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, she talks about something. I'm going to edit a little bit for this family-friendly show. She talks about a crap sandwich. She talks about how everything sucks some of the time. Everything sucks some of the time. So everything, like James Clear was talking about, being an author or being a bodybuilder, it all sucks some of the time. And that some of the time is what she calls a crap sandwich, edited for family friendliness. And you have to be willing to eat this crap sandwich. It's just part of it. It just is. And one of the things that that I was teaching my daughter. She has a gymnastics class after school on Tuesdays, and it runs kind of late, and it's all go time on Tuesdays. It's like you're out of school, we're in the car, we eat dinner, we go to gymnastics, we go home, we do homework, you shower, it's all go time as soon as that school bell rings because we are on the clock. I want to get that kid in bed as early as possible. However, she still has responsibilities. She still has to do her homework. She still has to do her reading. She still has to keep up with her schoolwork. And there was one night shortly after school started. It was a Tuesday night. Of course, it was a Tuesday. And we had done gymnastics. We had done dinner. We had done the shower. We had done the whole thing. And she had homework. And she was tired. And she's like, Mom, I'm so tired. And I'm like, I understand. I really do. And I get that. However, if we're going to do gymnastics on a school night, this is part of it. This is like powering through your homework on a school night when you are so tired from the day and from gymnastics and you just want to go to bed. This is part of it. And I told her, I was like, if you don't want to do this, that's fine. We'll find a gymnastics class on a Saturday, which would necessitate us moving to a different gym, or I would have done that already. Don't judge me. But she didn't want to go to another gym. And so here we were on a Tuesday, and I was like, I will put you in a class on a Saturday. I will do that starting next week. We'll get it done. And she said, no, she wants to stay at her gym. And I was like, okay, well, then this is part of it. This is part of it. Unfortunately, that was the crap sandwich she had to eat in order to have her gymnastics class at the gym she wanted it at. So everything comes with a crap sandwich we have to be willing to eat. And if you love the thing, if you really want to do the thing, that crap sandwich is going to be no problem. It's not going to be an issue. There are lots of things in my life that come with crap sandwiches, and I will eat those every single day because I love the thing that they're attached to. I love the benefit that I get from whatever it is. I love having a fantastic day full of energy and knowing that I've fueled my tank first thing in the morning. So when that alarm goes off, my first bite of the day is a crap sandwich. Like, I don't really want to get up, but I do want to get up because I want my routine, because I know what that routine does for me. So I'll eat the crap sandwich. Will you eat the crap sandwich? It's a question you got to ask yourself. All right. So this has been great. This has been so good. I'm so grateful for the people in my life who come to me with these really great thoughts, really things that really require introspection. And as you go forward into the new year, I hope that you take these things really to heart and to mind and really ask yourself, what do you want? And what are you willing to do? What do you want to be versus what are you willing to be? What do you want to have versus what are you willing to have? What do you want to do versus what are you willing to do? And go into it knowing that there's going to be drawbacks, knowing that there's going to be a crap sandwich attached. So when that crap sandwich pops up and you're like, oh, here it is. You're not surprised. You're just like, I was expecting you. This is fantastic. I'm ready to eat it. Let's do it. All right, here we go. I'm so excited for the new year. This is my favorite time of year. I love December. I love January. Not so thrilled about February because it's always so freaking cold. Here we are. I love December and I love gearing up for this new year. And I hope that you love it too. That's what I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you all the best. I wish you all the best. And that's what I have. Bye for now.